Great day, YouTube. This is your king, Zmear Kallé, coming to you all the way from the 26 Dreamville, Fayetteville, North Carolina. This is my first initial video. I'm just going to take my time, take a deep breath. I'm not going to rush the process. I'm trusting the process. But while I'm trusting the process, I'm trusting that you are clicking the like button and you are subscribing and you are ringing that bell and you are sharing this video to those friends who needs this information. What kind of information am I talking about today? Well, today I'm going to be talking about how to thread a sewing machine. Something very simple, something very basic. I thought starting out my first video, let's not make it complicated. I talked to my bestie, Diamond Newton from Newtonville. If you don't know about Newtonville, you should go check out Newtonville's page. That page is so funny. I just have so much fun looking at the growth of the family. So if you like family-oriented things or prank jokes or anything like that, go check out Newtonville. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. Very quick, very simple. It wasn't even a long video, so it wasn't that bad. You see, you made it through. You made it through, right? Okay, great. So some of the things I wanted to talk about, which ties into fashion. I am a spiritual guru. I'm a person who believes in my connection with all that exists. I believe that all is working for my good, that I have everything that I need and more than enough, and more is on the way, and so it is. The only competition that I have is myself. So when I'm sewing and I'm making clothes, one thing I've learned, when the sewing machine tension is like bunching, like the thread at the bottom is bunching or the top thread is bunching, anytime that I'm experiencing tension, thread breaking, anything like that, one thing I've learned and was taught in home economics class, for me, it was apparel development 1 and 2. So if y'all know, click that like button and ring that bell if you are agreeing that you've been in one of those home economics class for, you know, my more mature audience. And then for my younger audience, that's recent, like 2009, it's apparel development is the name they have it for now. But one thing that I've always was taught, that anytime your sewing machine acts up, the tension acts up, you are to basically rethread your sewing machine, in the sense of like a computer virus or a computer stall. Like, let's say you are on a program or on the website, or you're on some kind of Adobe and your computer freezes up, the program freezes up. Naturally, you want to Control Alt Delete, right? Which is a form of rebooting, because what you're doing is eliminating the program that has created the opportunity for growth or the contrast, essentially. But if that doesn't work, what do we usually do? We turn the computer completely off. We just hold that power button and we turn the computer off, and then we wait a few seconds, and then we turn it back on. So that's the same concept when you are sewing and you have an issue, you run into an issue with your sewing machine. The first thing I always do before I start going deep within, trying to open up the sewing machine and look, before I even go into private eye, Bill Nye the Science Guy mindset, before I go into an Olivia Pope scandal trying to go into the deepest part of my sewing machine, the first thing I do is simply rethread my sewing machine. That means I rethread my top thread, and I rethread my bobbin. I don't half-ass it either. Like, I know some people that will only rethread their top thread because they don't really want to deal with the bottom, Or some people, they are knowledgeable, so they're like, oh, if my tension at the bottom is, I need to fix my top thread. My tension at the top of the fabric is bunching up in my bottom, and something wrong with my bobbin. Instead of trying to, I don't try to like pinpoint or just focus and hone in on this is the problem. I immediately umbrella or cover all issues by just rebooting the whole system, by just rethreading the sewing machine. Simply rethreading a sewing machine will solve so many problems for so many people. You know, a lot of reasons, a lot of times machines are acting the way they are is because they don't really thread them properly. And when they do thread them properly, they forget to, it's all right to rethread it if your thread is acting up even after you just threaded it. That's a fact. That's a reality. There's been many times where I've thread the sewing machine, right? And the thread still acts up, right? So then I go deep within, and I'm like, okay, then it's got to be another issue. It's got to be something else, because I've already threaded it and it's still giving me the same issues, and now here I am again. And I rethread it again. Simple. Rethread it again. Most of the time it works. Like any well working machine, it works. Okay, and that has nothing to do with the body wrap. I'm talking about it clearly working when you just reboot the system instead of trying to find an issue. Okay, this is much like life. When I'm threading a sewing machine, it's much like life, that even when you get in an argument with, like when I get in little debates or arguments with my wife, Brandi, she, we have moments in every argument or every debate. It works for us to not only take a deep breath and think about our next thoughts and our next actions and reactions, but there are some times where it calls for us to reboot the conversation. Right? Rebooting a conversation would be, in a sense, it would look like this. We had a little dispute or argument or disagreement. Instead of talking about the conversation right when it happened, while the tension is there and the roller coaster's at the top, we wait until the energy kind of dies down, right? We kind of wait till the energy reboots itself. We don't want negative energy around us. We don't want low vibrational energy around us. And we definitely don't want a unbalanced home. We want a harmonious home. And I've learned that even threading machine, and you have problems with your machine and you got to rethread it, reboot it. You having a problem with your computers and you reboot it. It's the same thing with a conversation or relationship. It's all right to restart over. And that's another issue I see a lot of people have. They don't like starting over. A lot of people just believe when they start something that they need to finish it. And that's not always true. Sometimes not finishing something and learning the lesson that you had got out of that, however long that season was finishing it. I'll let that settle for a second. Again, you don't have to finish everything you start, because even as you can see in life, there's a lot of things that you have started and you haven't finished. There's a lot of things that you have started years ago and you say, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to complete it. I'm going to invest in that. I'm going to pay them back. I'm going to do my part. And you're still in the same place. That's because that class is over. That means, yes, sometimes you have to start some classes over again with a different teacher, with new students, a different perspective. It's the same thing when I'm sewing and making clothes. It's so relative to the spiritual life that we live. Sewing or anything with the arts is very relatable to the things that we are experiencing spiritual. Okay, so that's why I correlate. And as you will see in my videos as we move forward, I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm not going to just talk about fashion. Fashion. Fashion is wonderful. Fashion is beautiful. I've been sewing for 20 plus years. I love it. I haven't stopped, and things are growing. However, I'm a spiritual being. If you're not already following me on all my social media sites, I petition you to do so. All my social media sites are the same, Zmear Kallé. That's Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, anywhere. Anywhere you type Zmear Kallé, I more than likely will have an account with them. Also, my website is zmearkallé.com. That'll all be in the link in the bottom. Everybody that I have dropped and name dropped in here will also be in the link at the bottom. And it can only get better from here. I'm in a hot car. I'm about to go inside. So if you haven't already, show your love, send your love. This is your king, Zmear Kallé. Remember, image is everything. Let's make magic. Peace.